In a way, though, the biggest upside from doing what we need to do now is the avoidance of a massive downside. And the finance on that is very, very clear. The Office for Budget Responsibility in the UK did some calculations recently about the impact on the debt to GDP ratio from taking early action on climate change. And they suggested that it might add 20 percentage points to the debt to GDP ratio. Now, right now, there's a discussion about whether our debt to GDP ratio is already too high. It's around about 107% of the GDP. And therefore, we should engage in some new form of austerity to bring that down. That's the argument that's going on at the moment. That is a huge mistake. And the Office for Budget Responsibility makes that clear. A 20% percentage points uptake would take us to something like 120% debt to GDP ratio. That is still low by historical standards. It's still low by European standards. It's still low by the standards of Japan. And there is no indication that it's harmful to the economy. But failing to do that, as the Office for Budget Responsibility makes clear, would leave us with a debt-to-GDP ratio of 300% by the end of the century because of the damages that unmitigated climate change will be forcing on our economy. The biggest upside to early action is the avoidance of that massive downside.